gorgeous, warm, super sunny. It's going to be a really nice day. We've got a nice hotel at the end of the line and a whole lot of ocean and beautiful blue sky in between. So, happy trails.
Well, it's early morning here by the Atlantic coast, some seaside town. Got ourselves a really nice bed and breakfast. Just a very cozy little place. It's a side house, place to store our bicycles. And a nice cozy little courtyard. Just getting ready to load up. Very nice place. Kept us warm, gave us a soft bed, a shower. What was the name of our hosts, do you remember? Jean and Marie? I'm guessing. Well, very nice place. Here is a charcoal drawing here in our B&B that shows what those little huts are. They catch fish in them. There you can see the huts along the little canals and their nets that they drop down. So yeah, there's our explanation. Easy enough. The name of the host was Jean-Paul. And I don't know his wife's name, but they were very, very cute and very sweet. And we are out of here pretty early. It's about 8:30. I'm gonna go down into town, get ourselves some coffee. As if we needed it.
You know, Bertlieb really dropped the ball on making their rear bag.
Yeah, they did.
It's just...
At least that
terrible.
one.
I mean,
yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's just such a pain.
Every time it's a hassle. We got to keep remembering to look at bike stores so that we can replace it. You know?
It's a chilly morning.
Oh yeah, it's about 9 o'clock. Excuse me. 9 o'clock is early here in France, actually.
Yeah,
everything seems to be about an hour. Yeah. Yeah, everything seems to be set back about an hour here, including the sunrise.
42 degrees.
42, freezing. But it sure is beautiful. Got a clear blue sky. Gonna be a high of like 70 today. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, it's cooling down every day. It gets cooler and cooler, it seems.
Yep.
I think those hot days of summer are gone.
Could be. We'll see if we get into Provence.
Yeah, sure.
D'accord. Donc 5 et 3, 8.
For €5, we just want one though, right?
Yeah, one would be fine.
11,50.
A couple bananas.
Oui, c'est bon.
Anything else?
That's probably plenty, huh?
Is that good?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Morning, baby. So after a wonderful morning at the market and enjoying a little coffee and croissants, we are on the road to our next destination, heading south. I wish I could remember the names of these places, but I can't. I have a hard time keeping all the names separate. But it's a beautiful morning, very shady path, lovely ride so far. Got ourselves a nice bunch of charcuterie, or some cheese and some ham and some canard sausage.
Some of the best looking ham I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Good quality meats here.
Yeah, it was a great market. I even got a belt. So we got lunch set for us. We got our route set for us. We got a room. God, this path is incredible. It's just so smooth and rolling, little ups and downs, and keeps you going pretty fast. You can see the road cyclists on the highway next to us. zipping by, but boy, for bike touring, this is so sweet.
Beautiful morning, full of coffee and pastries. We got to wander through a little marketplace. Ran into this couple we saw at the Spine restaurant last night, and they had this angelic looking little girl. So we got to see them again this morning and got to talk to them for a little bit, but we had such a nice time. And so we're now on this gorgeous trail heading south. It's going to be another perfect day. Boy, my cup is just filling up. I'm telling you, you know, you go through life, you go through COVID, and it kind of drains you after a while. I can get to feel like an empty vessel, but this kind of riding is filling my cup, and it truly is what feeds me.
So here we've got an interesting campground of these glamping tents, like a yurt, I guess. Part of one of those mobile home campgrounds, but cool little idea.
It looks spacious, but a great option.
Yeah.
You know, to pitching your own tent.
Living like tourists, which we are, I guess. Kind of reminiscent of like Atlantic City or something. Soon we found ourselves riding through the seaside town of Saint-Jean-de-Monts. At no time did we feel more like we were on holiday than when we rode through these resort towns on the Atlantic coast. The perfect sun, the blue sky and even bluer water, the broad sandy beaches filled with sun-seekers, and the carnival atmosphere, all combined to make us feel less like adventurers and more like tourists. We embraced the feeling while it lasted.
Good riding wear, right?
That's beautiful
You're on the
riding.
beach.
Nondescript kind of stretch of road going through here. Sometimes nice with forests, sometimes kind of touristy, sleepy touristy. All the crowds have gone home. I imagine this is probably somewhat crowded in the summer. There's a nice paved path alongside the road, stopping into little towns here and there. It's pretty populated the whole way. You don't seem to get much of a break from civilization at all through here. Pleasant enough towns, if again, a bit on the touristy side. Bit of a headwind today. Quite a change from yesterday, which had the tailwind pushing us all along. Today we're fighting it just a little bit. You notice it with every stroke. After a somewhat boring stretch, punctuated by countless amusement parks all closed for the season, we rode through Saint-Gilles-de-Vie, which we checked out a bit until the tourist crowds got a bit, well, crowded, and we beat a hasty retreat. But not before checking out a spectacular carousel, a feature which seems to be a staple in many of these towns.
Who doesn't love the magic of a carousel?
We crossed and then rode along the River V, and soon found ourselves along the ocean once again. Bonjour. Kinda cool riding right next to the ocean. I like it. Especially on a coolish day like today. Love it.
Une semaine de faire appel à nouveau à la révoie pour refaire la terrasse extérieure. Au bout, il y en a pour tous les goûts, pour tous les portefeuilles et les
Eventually, we left some of the more touristy areas behind, and the route became less crowded, the views more serene. Our path led along a beautiful little brook and through lush forests, and we welcomed the quiet as well as the shade. Nice foresty ride to finish our day. Shady, cool, delightful. Love it. Let's see here.
Beautiful trails out here. Peaceful, green, lush, quiet, covered in ivy, greenery. Coastal trail along the Atlantic. I love the climate of the beach. All those negative ions. Beautiful.
The forest path gave way to a sandy trail, telling us that we were close to the coast once again, and we stopped for a much-needed lunch just off the shoreline.
Lovely little place to stop for lunch. We're trying some chicken fajitas. We're wondering how those are going to taste.
Chicken fajitas.
Do they make good chicken fajitas in France?
No idea.
We'll find out.
Cool little place for some fajitas poulet.
Soon we were riding through a beautiful maze of working marshland, which the trail threaded its way through.
I think these are like little fish hatcheries or something. Some kind of farming going on here. It seems to be fed, ebb and flows with the tide. Interesting. Maybe it's shrimp. God, it's been a beautiful day.
We were fascinated by the rustic industry on display here, even though we had no idea what it was all about. It was our good fortune to come upon someone who not only knew what the industry was, but had actually filmed a short movie all about it. An expert.
We have Arnold and Natalie. I'm sorry. And they were explaining to us, we were riding through this section where it's all compartmentalized with gates and that, you tell us, sea salt?
It was sea salt. It was an activity the last century. Okay. It was disappearing, and there is young people now.
They're doing it again.
They're doing again this activity.
Bringing back the industry of collecting the sea salt.
And it all kind of collapsed 50 years ago.
And you can go to l'île d'Olonne, the village just near.
Yes.
They
sell the salt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just here, near the village. Il y a de la voiture. Je vais vous montrer.
Attendez.
Tiens, amène mon téléphone. Because I make some videos with my brother. Make a film about this.
I appreciate you stopping and talking to us and explaining this to us. We couldn't figure out what it was. We thought maybe a fish hatchery or crawdads or shrimp or something, and it's salt. Who would have thought?
Sorry for my English.
Oh, your English is beautiful.
You come from England?
No, we come from USA, from Colorado.
Ah, okay.
Colorado, yeah.
Beautiful people.
Yeah.
Okay, the channel is La Grande Plage. This is a video who explain.
Ils ont commencé à développer plus la vente en petite quantité pour la cuisine ménagère, qu'ils ont vraiment développé la fleur de sel. Ils ont commencé à développer plus la vente en petite quantité. Ils ont commencé à développer.
This is great. Thank you.
This is wonderful.
It's a pleasure.
When it's
Perfect.
Arnold and Nathalie.
Yes, and Natalie. Yes, beautiful people. Yes.
Merci beaucoup, and
Thank you very much.
happy trails to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir.
That's where you get your beautiful French sea salt. Of salt. I'm surprised anything grows in there.
We made our way to the nearby town of l'Île-d'Olonne and our delightful, if height-challenged B&B, where we were greeted by the kind owner and promptly made ourselves at home.
This is a cute little place that we are staying in for the night. It's like a little attic room that has been converted to a little apartment. The top of some very steep stairs. Bathroom and shower down there.
And as you can see,
it's not for a man that's 6'2",
but it works.
but it works just fine.
Since mostly we'll be laying down.
Yeah, recovering. This is just lovely. You've got a little stove. We're gonna cook up a little dinner, a little refrigerator. Perfect.
Julianna put together a dinner, which we enjoyed on the small veranda, overlooking the rooftops and gardens below. A spectacular end to a spectacular day.
Had a lovely stay in a nice little converted attic room. It was so charming, very comfortable. Had a little hot plate. We were able to cook a little dinner and just, instead of going out to a restaurant, we just hung out at home, and it was nice and relaxing. We feel very refreshed today. And we're coming up to a little marketplace. Looks like it's going to be another beautiful day though.
Place where we stopped for coffee down in the center of town. Nice little square. We got a live music going on in front of the church. Pretty sweet. But boy, I could use that coffee right now.
This morning's route carried us directly to Sables-d'Olonne, another in a long string of seaside resort towns, and once again stopped to enjoy the sun and the sound of the surf.
There's Julianna getting some sunscreen on.
Sorry if every one of these beach shots looks the same. It's a very similar looking place to many of the other places.
They're beautiful beaches.
They're beautiful beaches.
They all have a very unique town attached to them.
But they do have that kind of Atlantic City vibe to them. Big beach, hotels lining the beach. So good morning from the beach.
Good morning. It's a nice beach.
It's actually
Very
about
nice
1
beach.
o'clock. We've been riding for a little while. We had coffee in the square.
Nice croissant.
2 grande cafes. Still, it feels like it's about half of our usual intake.
Yeah, we're used to American buckets of coffee, and a grande coffee was 2 shots of 2 shot volumes. We're getting used to that.
But having a nice ride this morning. Super sunny. It's gorgeous, warm. It's going to be a really nice day.
Light breeze.
Probably like low 70s. We're going to have the ocean by our side probably most of the day. I keep scanning the beach for bare breasts, but I'm not finding anything at all.
Much to his dismay.
We're going to have to get Julianna out there or something.
Yeah, and put it all over YouTube. There we go.
Feeling kind of sick this morning. I've been dealing with the scratchy throat for probably the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Getting a bit of the head cold, so I'm a little groggy. I can feel it in my mapping and my navigation.
Keep taking vitamin C.
We got a nice hotel at the end of the line and a whole lot of ocean and beautiful blue sky in between. So, anyhow, happy trails. As we pass by the tourists in these towns, it's hard not to compare how we respectively choose our way of spending our free time. They come to spend their vacation on the ocean, parking their beach chairs in the sand for a day of sunshine, dining in the restaurants and cafes that line the beach and shopping for trinkets in the many tourist shops. We stop for a few minutes and then we're on our way to the next town, the next beach, or whatever is next in this endless chain of experiences that is bicycle touring. They have their relaxation and probably shudder at the idea of how we travel. We have sore muscles and an infinity of experiences and discoveries for our pain. Maybe someday we'll take the time for a real beach vacation, but not today. Today we ride. Beautiful day out here on the water. Just gorgeous. So now we say goodbye to the beach for a while. Route cuts us inland. Really nice bike paths. It's very pleasant riding. It's a cool in the shade anyway. Wow, some of these forests through here are just so dense. We're right smack dab in the middle of town, but this forest, just the shade is just so dark. Bonjour.
We are back in the salt, what do they call them? Salt mines, salt ponds maybe? Not really sure, but it's where they used to collect salt. It's kind of beautiful to ride through. Many people out here on bicycles, cyclists everywhere. I love that about France. People get up and move. They don't sit on their big tush and eat Cheetos. You know, I've been known to do that too. But still, it's great to see so many people out here. Bonjour!
We passed through more of the working salt marshes, so prevalent here in this part of the coast, stopping in some town or another for a bite, and we were treated to a parade of some of the most stunning 30s-era Duesenbergs one could imagine. To put that in perspective, the average price of one of these beauties is well north of $1.5 million. Been a lot of mix of paths on the Velodysee today. A lot going through these little towns, chopped up little bike paths, but it does keep you out of the traffic, which is very nice. Tons of bike riders everywhere. Everybody bikes around here, it's awesome. When we got out of that suburban area with all of its chopped up bike paths, now we're on a nice forest path for a little change of pace. We're both pretty tired. I'm definitely tired today. I'm dealing with this cold and feeling it, but it's not too bad. And kind of counting the miles a little bit. As beautiful of a day as it is, I'm kind of counting the miles. Today's ride saw a lot of town riding, with its starts and stops and general frustration, until a wooded path led us out of the congestion and into more pleasant riding. Overall, the day had been a wearying one for us, with a steady wind sapping our strength. We made our way to Olonnes-sur-Mer, where our unmemorable and nearly empty hotel waited for our arrival. Headwind's a little tough, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's been a bit of a slog all day for me anyway.
Yeah, me too. Never been a fan of wind.
Just got a very smooth, safe bike path, but right up against this highway, so thank goodness we've got the bike path. 3 or 4 miles into town where our hotel is. Looking forward to that. Wouldn't mind sitting down for a nice plate of something or other and resting for the night.
5 miles.
35? Yeah, it's been a slog today. Wind has been a factor most of the day, but it's probably at its worst now, maybe 15 miles an hour. And a little discouraging for this last push. But we'll get there. We're beasts.
Can't expect every day to be a piece of cake.
Not every day. So here we go. And now a change of directions. Much more pleasant. Still breezy, but not so bad. Not so bad at all. 3 more miles.
Bonjour.